What is up, everybody in the Discord? We're all set now. Let me drop the link. Woo! All right, guys, we're gonna get set in just a few moments. Tonight we're gonna be doing mindset coaching. Mindset coaching and mindset in general is very important for your success. A lot of it comes from mindset. It's just not the work you're doing, the knowledge you know of how to do the work. Um, it's not even just being around like-minded individuals. It's not just being around groups. It's not all the stuff that you know makes people feel like they're an actual entrepreneur or successful. You have to reframe your whole mindset in order to become successful up here first, and then everything else will follow. All right, so that's why we also do mindset coaching. So it doesn't matter how much I teach, how much I give away, how much resources, tools, templates, all that information I give away in my communities. None of it doesn't matter if you don't have the mindset to do that and be successful. If you're just joining, I really would appreciate you if you mute your mic. That would help me out a great deal. I'll save some questions and stuff for till the end. All right, I got you. And this is going to be recorded, so please make sure that you turn off your video or you will be live in YouTube and other places, other social media platforms while I post it. All right, so if you're not okay with that, all you got to do is just mute yourself and turn off your video camera. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about this great book. All right, you guys know I like to read, and I'm going to upload this book into the course. All right, so you can get it. Using my affiliate links, you'll get it for a great price. In some cases, you'll even get it for free. So these aren't just books I just be throwing out there. You guys know I actually read. Got tons of books I be showing you guys all the time. So this book I read this a while ago. It's an old book, but I probably read it maybe like 3 years ago. And as I was gearing up to get ready for this session, some days ago, um, just this thing very relevant to where a lot of you guys are right now in your make money online journey, your entrepreneur journey. But the name of the book is called Rework. Okay, Rework. Let me share my screen. All right, I got some notes, but I found some old notes that I want to go back and look over. So I don't know. We'll go back to them. Maybe I hit some of the points from both of them. But let me share my screen so you guys can see. How's everybody doing in the chat? Let me know how you're doing in the chat. At the end, I'll save some room for some questions. All right. All right. So if you can see my screen, it should be popping up in a moment. Please let me know. By the way, if you want to join us live in this Zoom and you're on one of my other social media platforms, you want to go to the start here post and you'll see a link on how to join us here. All right. And that way you can see my screen. But if you want to just listen, you can do that too. I break it down so you don't necessarily have to see my screen, at least not on mindset coaching. All right, but the name of this book is called Rework. Okay, really great book. He talks not only from the entrepreneurial side, but also like corporate side. So I'm going to break this down inside and out, and hopefully this will motivate you guys to read the book. I'm not going to tell the whole book in detail. I want to save some for you to read. All right, I don't want you to just take bits and pieces for what I see. I encourage you guys to read. Everybody who finally gives in who are one of my students and they finally start reading, they hit me up. They're like, Ronnie, I'm so glad I read the book. I totally needed this. Um, Everything I cannot teach you, some things can be learned from other people. And I speak that from experience. All right. There were some things that didn't click with me with my mentors and my coaches that had I not have started reading, especially reading the books they advised me to read, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. Okay. So I encourage you to read. especially if you've never had money, you're not used to success and all of those things. You don't have anybody around you to encourage you. That's what these books are for. And I can't stress it. Some people, just these small things, they just don't do these things that they need to do. All right. Forget what I'm saying. It's something you need to do for you in order to make sure that you become successful. All right. So I won't dwell on any of that. I'm going to break down the best pieces of this book. Like I said, I had some notes, but let me just tell you who this book is for right fast. Anyone who has been dreaming of creating something with their own strength, all right? Anyone interested in how business is in the 21st century, all right? And anyone trying to create a productive work environment. So he covers all those issues inside this book. Once again, it's called Rework. It's a New York Times bestseller. You can get it on Amazon. I'm going to put it in the course, drop the links. At the end of this video, I'll drop the link in my Discord to where you guys could probably get it free. I don't never know what the deal is. When you click it, it'll tell you. But sometimes you'll get the book free, you'll get the Audible free, something like that. All right. So we're going to dive into it. So chapter 1 is just the beginning. So he's basically breaking down there's a new reality. Today, anyone can do business. All right. Back in the old days, it was hard to start up a business when we didn't have the internet and you had to go get a business loan and people didn't know how to do that. All right. But now anybody, if it's kids, it's old people, it's young people, it's middle-aged people can start a business because the tools that were once out of reach are now easy to obtain. One person can do the work of 2 or more people. Things that were impossible a few years ago are now simple. And now you can work from home or collaborate with people who live thousands of miles away that you've never met. So it's time to change the way you work. So we're going to begin. That's why this is the subject of the book. That's what he's calling it, Rework. All right. So I got some notes. I'm going to start off with my old notes that I did on some of my more intimate um, um, communities. All right. If you guys don't know, I have multiple other communities. All right. Um, so I'm going to use those notes from that. So I'm going to stop the share. Something in my mouth. Going to stop the share, and I'm gonna go from those notes. Okay. So I got 18 things. Okay. And I'm not going to cover all 18. I'm going to hit the best ones. So the reason I stopped sharing my screen because I want you to write. All right. If you can, if you're able, wherever you are, wherever you're at, I want you to write. Note takers, action takers, or note takers. All right. Successful people take notes. I want to make it to where if you really care, you really want to learn how to do this, you're going to write it down. All right. People get lazy when I share my screen. So I will do that from time to time. I give you a break, but this book is very powerful. I want to make sure that you take some of this with you and you have something to refer back to later. So number 1, all right, number 1 is going to be mistakes and learning. Mistakes and learning. Mistakes and learning. Okay. All right. Now, I want you to understand what he means by this, and I encourage you to read the book. I won't go super deep into it, but I don't want you to misinterpret what he's trying to say. All right. So, mistakes and learning. And the name of the author is called Jason Fried. So, this is the guy who's talking, Jason Fried. He wrote the book Rework. He says, do not follow what other people have learned. All right. So let me explain because you guys are following the things I've learned. So let me unpack this. He says, do not follow what other people have learned and do not allow them to create the rules of society of what works and doesn't work. All right. Other people's mistakes are other people's mistakes. They have nothing to do with you. All right. So when you learn from your own mistakes, this is what he's trying to say. When you learn from your own mistakes, you learn what not to do. All right. But not necessarily what you should do next. Learning from your own success will always tell you what to do next. Therefore, it's important to understand that failure is not a prerequisite to success. Okay. Let me tell you what this means. All right. Let me find my other notes. All right. Evolution doesn't linger on past failures. Evolution doesn't linger on past failures. When you succeed at something, you know what works and you can keep doing it and possibly do better. So that's why he says failure is not a prerequisite for success. Evolution doesn't linger on past failures. It always builds on what works. All right. So what you need to take from that is that you need to, just because you fail, don't, and people say failure is not an option or whatever, and failure is part of success. Yeah, that's all true, but it's not gonna change your situation if you don't learn from your mistakes. Okay. You have to learn from those so-called quote unquote failures. All right. So I want you to understand the difference between that. All right. Let's get back into it. All right. Number 2, don't let the past drive the future. Don't let the past drive the future. And if you guys have questions and you don't want to forget them, drop them in the comments. I'm going to come back to them at the end. All right. Don't let the past drive the future. All right. So plans let the past drive the future. They are inconsistent with improvisation. You have to learn to go in new directions. And this is why people fail, because they're afraid to do something. They're afraid to do something they're not skilled at doing, they've never done before, or may not even be in the position to do, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. All right. Why? Because that is what is suitable today. All right. That's the norm. Often plans are made so long ago that it doesn't make sense for them to plan the future, because the future changes. But you're planning so far ahead. So don't call them plans, call them strategic guesses. And decide what you do on a weekly basis. Don't plan so far in advance that you're estimating is silly and nearly always inaccurate. Let me know if that makes sense to you guys. If you break your task into smaller tasks, you are much more likely to be accurate compared to estimating something big. Does that make sense? All right. Let me know if this is making sense to you guys. All right. Now, as you grow your business and you're deeper and you have teams and everything, and you have all these skilled worker bees working for you, you can go a little bit farther. But why would I plan for 20 years out? I don't know what it's going to be like in 20 years. And that's impossible, and it's stressful for me to do that. All right. I'm just trying to be prepared for tomorrow, maybe the end of this week or next week, or maybe even this month. All right. That's more current. That's more doable. That's more realistic. All right. Number 3, premature growth means death. Premature growth means death. I actually had one of my students, they were overly excited and motivated, and they had some small success, and they just jumped all the way into the habit of being a multi-millionaire, like making $100 million. And I had to bring them back and like, yo, I admire your enthusiasm, but you're jumping way too far ahead of the game. You're doing the work of somebody that you're not even in their position to be doing that, and you're stressing yourself out. Listen, premature growth is a death point. Don't grow for the sake of growing. You got to see what feels right. Small companies wish they were big, and big companies wish they were more agile. Because the benefits of being a small business is that you can tend to the people who feel like they don't have a voice. You can be more intimate with those people. But the way we see it is, oh, I only got 50 followers. I only got 8 people in my Facebook group. I only make $100 a month. The bigger the company, the more complex the infrastructure is. So the reason that you're small, and you should enjoy and embrace being small, because you're going to grow as your business grows, but not growing ahead of it, and your business has to catch up to you. What sense does that make? You're not even qualified to handle the infrastructure of a business that's making 6 figures a month. Therefore, that's going to cause more problems than that's even required. You're putting all this on yourself. You're setting a whole plan to see, how can I get to 10K a month, and you haven't got your first commission yet. That is ridiculous. Phase 1, let me get an email, let me get a subscriber, let me get a Facebook group member, let me get a DM. Live with that. If you try and do it the other way, it's just going to be a complete mess. I'm just going to be honest with you. And this is why I teach everybody on my course. All right. Now you're not an imposter. You're living in your reality. We're not trying to reach the people that are way far ahead. We're trying to reach the people that are behind. Help them catch up to where you are. And you can be successful in that business until it grows. Don't grow prematurely. Put that in the comments. All right. All right. This is something I want to address and make sure you guys understand. Listen to me. Don't be a workaholic. I don't know why everybody thinks that you have to be one, or you're supposed to be one. And that's the way society has made. If you really want to be successful, you got to work. You got to work, 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 work. Workaholics create more problems than they solve. They make up for a lack of intelligence through force. They do it to feel good, not to solve problems. If you always work hard, you don't know what are considered to be real problems. Let that sink in. I say it again. If you always work hard, you don't know what's considered to be a real problem. Y'all may not get that right now, but maybe you do. Let me know in the comments. Sometimes those people even do it to belittle others. I don't know if you guys have a job and you see that person working day and night, and they're telling you that, man, you're lazy because they get up and come to work way before everybody and stay super late, later than everybody after they've gone. Only work hard when it's required, not all the time, because you're going to burn out. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying it's not necessary sometimes. Sometimes the situation calls for that, but it's temporary and it's necessary and it's needed. But I am not a workaholic in my own business. I enjoy my life, and you should too. And this is something y'all may relate and you may see from me, all right? And you could probably get this after I say it. So here's number 5. Let your customers miss you. Now, there's a time to do that. If you put the work in, the needed, necessary work, all right, I let my customers miss me. You want your customers to feel that if you stop doing what you do, then they will feel something is missing. I can't tell you how much people have reached out to me, how many DMs I've got, how many emails I've got, how many text messages I've got from people like, Ronnie, where you at? You haven't been on TikTok. Now, I didn't do this purposely. Some stuff came out of my life that I had to handle those things personally, but it works itself out because, one, I'm in a position to be able to do that. My business will still sustain itself. But I'm also reminded, right? And those people are also reminded that, hey, when Ronnie's not there, something is missing, and they feel my absence. Build stuff you want to use. When you solve your own problem, you know how to solve it. I know this is going to go over y'all head. This is all I do. Most people think I just create stuff out of thin air, and I don't do that. I just sell stuff that I've already solved the problem for. Right? And I'm always asking other people what their problems that they're having. And I may have already had the solution. I just may make it even better. Now that I've grown from that problem I had years ago, I done blew off the desk and just, let me bring this back out and show them how this is today. You're therefore scratching your own itch when you do that. You are now in the position of the customer when you can identify what makes the product work in the best way possible to solve the problem. That was number 5. All right. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite and stay in control. If you're just joining me, I'm recapping the summary of the book called Rework by Jason Fried. All right, how y'all doing today? Hope you're having a glorious Monday evening. All right, it's 7:22 in Georgia on the East Coast, wherever you're at. I hope your day is shining. What do I mean by don't be a hypocrite and stay in control? Don't be a hypocrite like these companies that say they're sorry to keep you waiting, but still put you on hold for hours. Raise your hand if you hate that. Put a hand emoji, raise it high. Give me a face emoji that when you be on hold, they'll be like, we're sorry for waiting. Would you mind holding? Companies that think that a robot is showing genuine affection is silly. How many people are tired of dealing with voice recorded AI phone answering bots and text messages and emails? When you start taking money from others, you start talking when you start taking money for others, you start taking orders. Listen to that. I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, but you can have that title. I'm a servant to the people that allow me and empower me to be successful. Without you guys, there is no me. You can literally change my life. If all of you guys walked away from me, my business would crumble and I would have to figure out how to start all over and get more people. It is my duty to make sure that I serve you in the best way possible, to where you feel that you have a voice, that you are somebody and I actually care, especially if you gave me money. So that's what I mean. When you start taking money from people, you start taking orders. Do not take money to have someone else control your money. You will never have leverage and you will always have to give more of your company up to raise more money. This results in several of those people that be having all those contracts, and then you might even be seeing people that be jumping from opportunity to opportunity. They say they be making money, but who wants to do all that? Every other month, you got to buy something else to make some money off of it and to tell it to brand new people when you already have all of these people that would give their right arm and would support you if you would just give them some of your attention. They don't need all of it, just some of it. Answer a question, answer a freaking DM. So don't be a hypocrite and stay in control. That was number 6. Number 7, keep it personal and don't build to flip. Keep it personal and don't build to flip. All right? Keep it personal and don't build the flip. This is gonna hurt a lot of y'all feelings, but I really don't care because y'all know I love y'all and I want you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna tell it to you real because you need to hear it as what was told to me and everybody else who's successful, and it's the honest truth. Don't believe what those people are telling you, even your family and your friends. All right, check this out. Don't buy things you don't need. You often need less than you think. Think about it in your mind. What the heck are you paying for that you can absolutely live without? If there was an apocalypse, you wouldn't die because of this thing. You don't always need advertising. You always don't need ads. You don't need all that crazy stuff to have a business. And I'm telling you guys, I started with less than probably half the people online, if not more or less. And I did it. Building the flip is building the flop. You ain't even made any money, and you trying to invest in ads and whatever, and trying to flip that, you're gonna flop. And you don't have an exit strategy when you first start. All right, don't have an exit strategy when you first start. Put those together. Have a commitment strategy. Thought of that? You will never see a divorce lawyer on the day of your marriage. Because it's ridiculous. You never go into a marriage thinking you are going to divorce. If you are, God save your soul. Therefore, never plan to exit. Somebody who just heard this felt that. I felt it from you. I don't know where it is. It may not even be right now. It might be on the replay. But whoever felt that, comment and DM me and let me know, yeah, Ronnie, that was me. 8, focus on what you have. Y'all always complaining about what you don't have. And us as entrepreneurs have to, just to hit the pain points, just to get your attention. Sometimes y'all force us to have to point those things out for you that you don't have, just to get your attention so we can have the opportunity to tell you that you don't even really need them. When you're just starting out, constraints are a good thing because you learn to be creative and make do with what you have. Us entrepreneurs, you ever heard those entrepreneurs that say how to make $10,000 on TikTok without having to show your face on social media and less than 1,000 followers, and you're not tech savvy, without using a funnel or an email autoresponder or hiring an expensive coach or a mentor? You know how they created that crap? Because they didn't have it. And now they're making money teaching you guys how to do it too. But nobody gets that. I could go on and 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 on about that. He talks about in the book, starting with the epicenter. Ask yourself, if I took this away, would my product still exist? If it does, then great. Focus on making this the best it can be with the given resources you have available. Ignore the details while you nail the basics. An architect never plans the floor tiles when he is starting out working on a building. If you focus on what you can do now instead of the bigger picture, you will learn to do what is good enough. The thing is, you never have to live with the decision forever because you can always change good enough to great. Long projects zap morale. Instead, start with something extremely basic, and that way you are always making progress. Learn to be a curator and stick to what is truly essential. It is the stuff you leave out that truly matters. If you have a big problem, do not try and make the whole problem better. Reduce the problem completely to the core of the problem and polish, work on it. Think about, listen, just take this away because I'm passionate about stuff like that. I don't want to, I'll be ranted. Just always remember the core of your business should be based on habits people want to change today and 10 years from now. And by doing this, you are focusing on the core things that do not change. You know what never changes? People wanting good customer service, people wanting quality, people wanting genuine sincerity. I can do that with nothing. I may not have all this stuff that all these gurus and coaches and all these other successful overachieving people may have, but I can respond back. I can ask questions and listen to the answers and help people. I can't do that, even if it's one person at a time. Number 9, worry about the necessities. He gives a story about this band. He says a band did a documentary on its journey to progress. This captivated a very large audience. They knew they could not afford extensive marketing budgets, therefore, they focused on what they had. Ask yourself, if you had to achieve something in a given period of time, what would you cut out and why? When working on the necessities, always evaluate if it is something which is actually useful or if you're making something just for the sake of it. Whatever you decide to do, ask yourself if it's adding value. Value is about balance. Will your change actually do anything? And some of you guys should really think about this when you're putting out content. Don't add unless it has a real impact on your product. Don't create it unless it has a real impact on your product. And avoid throwing good time at bad work. I'd rather you create one good video than batching a whole month of crap. Y'all remember me on my old audits? I was a beast. Would y'all believe that when I was doing all those audits, I thought I was a little harsh looking back at them, but I grew so many people in my community off of those audits, and they still tell me to this day, man, I'm glad you found me. You was the realest person. You told me straight like how it is. It pushed me. I'm like, really? Of course, I was respectful, but man, they were like, I was like, man, looking back at the replays when I would go, they see me my content itinerary is gonna drop. Like, oh man, maybe that was a little mean. But then they say, hey man, I love it. It's weird. Number 10. All right, I'm not gonna do all of them, all right, because it's 7:30. And I'm gonna leave time for questions and suggestions and comments. So maybe I can help you guys individually. I got you guys. All right. So let me see something real powerful. How I can end it. Get this book, you guys. All right. Read the book. All right. Let me see. I just do number 10. All right. So number 10 for my notes was work smart and avoid interruptions. Work smart and avoid interruptions. Some of y'all have to be taught on what working smart actually means. All right. That's what I'm here for. If you don't know how to do that, that's cool. But you need to figure out or find somebody who can help you do that. All right. A lot of people come to me and they're deep down in it. They'll say, hey, Ronnie, yo, can you help me out with this? I'm stuck on this. I'm like, why are you doing it that way? And even now that we have AI and all these tools and softwares out now, I know some of these things you guys don't know about, so I get that. But I'd be like, yo, man, you're doing it way hard. I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way, because every time I touch on this subject before I get into this work smart, everybody always thinks I'm trying to get money out of them. All right, but I am one of the old school affiliate marketers, and back in the day we used to have to try the product and test it out and really see if it works before we started promoting it. Now these sprouting affiliate marketers just get a link and throw it out there and they don't even know what the back office of the product means. They ain't even opened up and started the free trial if there's one. But I said all that to say this. Right now, probably the biggest competition as far as funnels is ClickFunnels, because everybody knows they're one of the best. All right. Now I know, there's some naysayers, but overall, just generally speaking, but a lot of other people are also signing up for System.io. Okay, and the most selling point, main reason people use System.io, if we're all just being real, all right, it's because it's free. They have a free forever plan. It comes with restrictions, but if you're on a budget, you don't have the money or whatever, it's free. But when I introduce, I introduce the whole world, but when people come into my community and some of them I do give them the opportunity if they want to use that software, I get it. But when they finally open up and let me introduce them to ClickFunnels, their mind is blown away at how so much easier it is to use versus System.io. Maybe that'll change sometime in the future. I'm just talking about right now. But the simplest things that they do on System.io takes a lot of time that I can do in like one click on ClickFunnels. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an affiliate for them. Okay. And then I show them the difference. Like integrating your domain. It's like, this is like hard. And you're supposed to be a beginner. And they just but I understand why it might be difficult because they're trying to figure out a way to get for you can get it free. So they have to make that balance. They got to remove some stuff that costs them money so they can afford to give it to you for free. But from a person who's just starting out, don't have a lot of time, not very tech savvy, they've actually defeated the whole purpose because they've made the process a little bit more difficult. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people that are getting System.io and they figure this stuff out and they troubleshoot it and everything. And once you learn the software and get hip to it, then you'll be fine. Right, but you could have skipped that if the time it took you to get to the point where you are as far as progress using System.io. Let's say if you made your first 1K with System.io, what if you would have had ClickFunnels? You probably could have been at 10K. And I'm telling y'all from a business perspective because we already talked about time. So that's why I say, hey, money and time, which one is more important? And you confuse me. I want to get to my goals as quickly as possible for whatever my personal reasons are, because this is what's going on. All right, let me show you ClickFunnels. It's going to do that. How much it costs? Yeah, I heard about that. They're expensive. What about System.io? Yeah, you could do this, but it's you're learning, right? And I've been ahead of all these steps. So is there any way that how could you afford ClickFunnels? Because this will get you have a better shot of getting to that goal with this software. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to sell it to you. It's just the reality of it. If it was a race car, all you need is a car to be in a car race. But then there's a Lamborghini, and then there's a broke down 1957 whatever. The engine has a blown head gasket, but you got it free. He says, ask yourself, when do you get the most work done? We're talking about work smart and avoid interruptions. Ask yourself, when do you get the most work done? If you're watching this on replay or watching this live, I challenge you to put that answer in the comments. Ask yourself, when do you get the most work done? And you may not even had time to work at home in your business, but let's just say doing the dishes. Let's just say reading a book. Let's just say watching a movie. When is the best time for you to watch a movie? Some people work hours through the night when there is little to no interruption, and myself included. I like to work at night because there's a little interruption. I have a wife and I have kids. I'll even watch a movie I've been wanting to watch real late at night. The reason why they work best at this time is because interruptions are not collaborative to productivity. You cannot get meaningful things done when you are constantly having to start and stop. And this is common sense. You need to focus and for long periods of time, especially if you're starting out and you're trying to learn how to do freaking emails, copy. And you're even more frustrated because you're picking probably the one of the worst, if not one of the worst problems to do it. Introduce uninterrupted hours in your business with yourself. When nobody talks to each other, there's no Facebook or anything that can take anything away from you and stop you and pull you away from working. Try it and experiment and watch your productivity skyrocket. Listen, guys, I'm not Superman. I just work smart. That's all. And I try and teach people how to do it, but most people aren't willing to make the sacrifice, and they're not honest with themselves that they can and should make the sacrifice, at least for right now, because it's absolutely necessary. There's a guy, I did a duet on his video. His is extreme, but he's highly successful now. We're real good friends. His name is Derek. He's with another affiliate program, but we all associate and congregate. And he works in the medical field at a hospital. They work long hours, so he has to be to work at 4 o'clock. And I can't remember what time he gets home, but after he gets home, he had these other duties and he had to do with wifey and do dishes, and he would be done with all that stuff at 12 a.m. Right? And then he would from there, when he got done, he would work on his business, right? For like 2 or 3 hours, and then he would like get 3 hours of sleep. 3 hours of sleep, and he did that for weeks, months. But now he's about to quit his job. We were talking about it the other day. He's scared to death to do it, but he's about to quit his job. His mentor told him he needs to quit his job. His job is hurting him now from growing his business, but he's afraid because it's safe. But he has no reason to be afraid because he's been consistently for months now getting a certain amount of income that has exceeded his current income. I hope this has helped you guys. All right. I'm going to answer any and all of your questions. If you're watching this right here, this is definitely going to be on replay. Thank you for joining my mindset coaching classes. I love doing these. I hate it when I can't do them. So they're always so good. I think it's one of the most parts of being successful. So that's why I made sure once I started coaching, I was going to add that in there. It isn't always systematics and tech stuff and information and content strategy. This right here, if you have this, everything else is going to be fine, no matter what level you're on. All right. So drop your questions in the comments and I got you. All right. Stay blessed. I'll see you on the other side of success. I'm just ending that for the video recording.